So if you're learning German, I'm willing to bet there's one thing that trips you up more than anything else: the numbers. But what if I told you there's a simple, logical code behind all that confusion? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to crack it. Together.
Okay, let's just dive right into the heart of the puzzle. You hear a German number like vierundzwanzig, and your brain just, well, it kind of short circuits, right? 5 and 20? Why on earth do they say it backwards? It's a classic hurdle for learners, and it's exactly what we're here to figure out.
And to solve this little mystery, we're going to need to gather a few key puzzle pieces first. You know, we've got to start with the absolute basics before we can see the big picture. All right, so let's get started and lay that foundation. Seriously, getting these first few parts right is the absolute key to making the entire system just click.
Our whole foundation starts right here with the numbers from 0 to 12. Now, unlike a lot of the numbers that come later, these don't really follow a pattern. They're all unique, so they're the ones you just kind of have to memorize. Let's just quickly run through them. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Trust me, these are the keys to the kingdom.
Okay, now let's see how this starts to build. Once you have those first 12 down, things get way more logical. For the teens, the formula is super simple and probably feels pretty familiar. You just take the unit, like drei for 3, and you tack on sein for 10. Slap them together, and you get 13, 13. See? Simple.
Of course, language always has its little quirks, right? So for 16 and 17, you'll notice a few letters get dropped just to make the words flow a little better. Sex becomes 16, it loses an S, and sieben becomes 17. It loses the N. Just 2 tiny exceptions to keep an eye on. All right, the teens are covered. The next set of building blocks we need are the tens. And guess what? They also follow a really simple pattern.
The magic key here is the suffix zig. You can think of it as the German version of adding t in English. Just like we turn 4 into 40, in German, vier becomes vierzig. And this logic works for most of the tens, which makes them super easy to learn. Well, with just a couple of small exceptions.
And here they are, the few oddballs you just need to file away. First up, 20 is totally irregular. It's zweiundvierzig. 30 is also a bit special, using that sharp Eszett character, 30. And then 60 and 70 are droppers, just like their teenage cousins, becoming 60 and 70. If you can memorize these 4, you've got all the pieces you need to solve the puzzle.
Okay, we have all our pieces, we've got the units, we've got the teens, we've got the tens. So now it is time for the moment you've been waiting for. Let's finally crack this backwards code once and for all.
This right here shows the fundamental shift in thinking. See, in English, we build our numbers big to small. We say the big 20 block first, and then we add the little 1 block. German logic completely flips that on its head. You start with the small part first, 1, and then the 20.
So here it is, the secret formula for any number from 21 all the way to 99. The way you build it is always the same. It's the unit followed by und, which just means and, followed by the 10. Unit and 10. That's the code. Let's see it in action. So for 21, we take our unit, 1 for 1, we add und, and then we add 20 for 20. Push it all together into one long word. And what do you get? 21, 1 and 20. It makes perfect sense now, doesn't it?
Let's do another one, just to make sure it sticks. The number 45. We start with the unit, 5, which is 5. Then we add our connector, und, and finally the 10, 40, which is 40. All together now, 45, 5 and 40. See? You're totally getting the hang of this. And this pattern is so consistent, it holds true all the way up. Even a bigger number like 99 follows the exact same logic. You take 9, add und, and add 90, 90. The result, you guessed it, 9 und 90, 9 and 90. See? Once you know the rule, it's not random at all. It's perfectly predictable. Okay, so we've cracked the code in theory. Now let's see how this whole thing actually works in a real conversation. Because knowing the rule is one thing, but actually using it is where the real fun begins.
And a perfect example is one of the first questions you'll ever get asked in German.
Wie alt bist du? Or, how old are you? Your answer, of course, is going to need a number.
And here's how you'd reply. Ich bin 25 Jahre alt. And there it is, our 5 and 20 used perfectly and naturally in a complete sentence to say, I am 25 years old.
So let's kind of zoom out for a second and boil this all down. What's the single most important thing you need to remember from all of this?
It's honestly this simple. It's not really backwards, it's just a different order. For any number between 21 and 99, you just say the small number first. That's it. That's the entire secret. Unit before the 10.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. We tend to think of numbers as universal, like pure logic. But what we just saw is that language can fundamentally change how we build and express them. So if language can flip something as basic as this, what else does it change about how we perceive the world around us? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.